welcome everyone, it's time for more colonyship. One last time we helped out the monks a bit more, so yes, previously we had allied ourselves with the monks a little bit more than the other factions. I felt that their reasoning for wanting the life support machine was indeed the best one, because ultimately what do we want? Well, we do want to get to Proxima, that's basically the entire goal, and if the ship fails, well, that's it, game over. We can't do anything about that. Doesn't matter if anyone has oxygen generators, as someone pointed out. That's not gonna work, at least not a long time if needed. So yes, I decided that monks had the best idea. Now, they wanted to put on the pressure a bit on the other factions, so we were tasked to go and talk to them and say, hey, here's the rub. The monks are gonna do this and you're gonna just stand down. I managed to get the protectors and the church on my side, at least so far, as to say, well, okay, we're not going to attack the monks. The Brotherhood, not so much. They actually were a bit annoyed at us and actually called it an outright war declaration. So, didn't do it right there. We basically had a chat with the leaders and had a few sort of choice selection of dialogue choices, so to speak. But yes, and after that, we sort of went through the sort of underbelly of the ship, like through all of the locations and stuff like that. We ended up at the sort of end before where we are right now, where there was a robot and two turrets, more or less the same setup as in maintenance. And on this occasion, we were able to do a terminal to get rid of them, so that was quite nice. And then we ended up here in the bridge, which hasn't been used in a long time. Now, previously, when I was talking a bit about what I thought could potentially be going on, not necessarily because there was any evidence for it, but just because it sounded like a fun thing, I had an idea, which was that maybe the ship never left Earth. Maybe the fact is that the ship is still on Earth. The people who initially went on the ship were fooled or tricked or whatever to believing that they were going away, but in fact that they were just still back on Earth. And the whole reason for that is to test, you know, everything, both the technical stuff, obviously, does all the life support system work, does the hydroponics work, etc., but also the societal things, like how does it work 1 or 2 generations in? We need to know this before we send a ship out into space many years. So that would in some ways explain why there aren't any windows on this ship, as I believe there aren't. For example, don't look out, basically. And a much better solution to what I had in mind for my little, you know, setting, as I was talking about in the very first episode in the intro. In my idea, there was still windows, but there would be like projections on the other side, if that was the thing. I'm not saying that I had an answer to my little setting, but there you go. So that was one idea, and the reason why it has been so long is that something happened on Earth, and the sort of testing, or the test was just abandoned for some reason, and maybe there are, like, I don't know, let's say solar panels on the outside that, you know, provides power if the ship couldn't, or something like that. I don't know. You know what? It's just a hypothesis. So that's one of the things that I was thinking about. The other options basically are we're still on our way, or we have arrived. Those are really the only options. And would you believe it? That kind of looks like a planet to me. Yes, indeed it does. Now, one thing to keep in mind when I see this, because the thing is that we're apparently in orbit, we are far out from orbit. Like, this is very far. Like, this is proper space orbit. If you think the ISS on Earth, that would be like, if you look at this as being the, well, it is, the surface, the ISS is like here or something. It's not far out, but we are very far out. So now that we are here and we have this revealed, Zeta 4, who is also here somewhere, right over there, obviously said that yes, this is one of the predictions that we had. This could have been the case, even they didn't know, and predicts that our chance of survival is about, like, what did she say, 8%, which, you know, in fairness to her merit, is actually not that bad. That is what she said. We said, oh, what the hell do you mean 8%? That's nothing. While 8% is a whole lot more than like 0% or 1%, it's actually quite good. And we could potentially boost it to other levels. Now the question is, what the hell do we do now? Like if we go and think about the shuttle bay, all the shuttles, are they actually potentially in use? Can we actually get down to the planet? That's one thing. The other thing is, it's not a green planet, is it? It's a very, very sepia-toned planet. That's dry. That's very dry. But, I mean, seems to be an atmosphere at the very least. I suppose that is something that we figured out back on Earth, that yes, there is an atmosphere. There is breathable air. That's the foundation for even sending a ship here. But other than that, we probably didn't know a whole too much. So, this is all very interesting. Now, here's another point. Is this the last episode of this game? I mean, what else are we doing really now that we know this? I don't know. I mean, this could be the final episode. I have no idea how this game ends. So, yeah. What we can do is we have the central computer. Obviously, that's where we're going. But there is also a console here. So, the walkway is gone, the terminal controlling it damaged beyond repair. The door at the other end of the bridge is sealed shut to ensure that nobody would be able to reach it. Okay. Can we do anything about that? Maybe. Before I continue a little bit further, this one, Key to the Future, I can't do that. That is locked for me because I sent Shadow down the elevator, which I am, again, very annoyed at myself for doing because I had no reason to do that. I know that there were, or was definitely, or is definitely a terminal that you could have used to deal with the turrets, which I didn't think that there were. I must have completely missed that, or I don't know. I must have missed it because if there was a terminal and I didn't have the skills, I mean, surely my thought would have been just come back when I do. I don't remember what my thought was there, but yeah. Basically, you need to be able to go down into the lower part of that, and there's more fighting against robots and turrets and stuff like that. So that's a bit sad, and obviously... Oh, the Jimmy mission is actually gone. Okay, well that's interesting. Oh, I'm not going to try and find it in here. Okay, never mind. Jimmy's just gone. Sad about that. The interesting that this still is here. Okay, never mind. Let's do the important bit. So, here we go. As you log into the central computer, you are flooded with centuries of virtually incomprehensible data about Proxima Centauri, or Centauri. I can never remember how it's pronounced. All transmitted to the ship by the network of ancient... sorry. Bloody hell, that was a bit much. Okay. Right, even with centuries of your own, you wouldn't be able to parse, let alone understand, everything that the probes have uploaded. Still, you can try to scan the reports and learn what you can. Right, let's start with the deep space probes. Large metal sphere fills up the screen, rotating with incremental slowness. A rectangular header informs you that it's an Outrider-class probe, carrying 12 survey drones controlled by distributed AI. The drones are long gone, and the AI has been severely degraded as well, but thankfully the reports it collected are still intact. Doesn't this mean that we've been here for a long time, if it's already been degraded? So digital mountains of data wait at your fingertips, spanning geological, meteorological, geochemical, mineralogical, and even, sorry, again, anthropological studies. The AI made the AI made good use of its time, and now some lucky soul finally gets to read through it all, or not. Is it or not to the lucky soul, or actually reading through it? I don't know. Proxima V appears on the screen in all its arid glory. A linked habitability study tells you that this world is no Eden, but a savage land to be tamed by savage settlers. I mean, that's a good thing, at least then. An outdated map of indigenous settlements suggests that the planet is sparsely populated, probably because of the hostile conditions. Populated by what? With plenty of land for newcomers, there is hope that humans may settle here without too much bloodshed. Okay, the landing zone has already been selected, the result of hundreds of different scenarios evaluated and discarded. According to the now defunct AI, this is the colony's best hope for success. or it would have been, had we not lost most of our manpower technology and know-how during the voyage. Well, that's very sad. Still, the zone is undeniably a beauty, rich in resources. A flash of green that promises water close underground. Okay, and there, in spitting distance, a native town with its lanky inhabitants staring up at a distant camera. The dawn is finally... Oh. What? Are there actual people here? Native town with its lanky inhabitants staring up at a distant camera? Okay, I'm not getting that, really. Which camera? The dawn is finally coming, you're the first to see it. Oh. Okay, natives, huh? A chopping, oddly angled recording shows you a skinny, long-limbed anthropoid with an elongated skull dressed in something approximating a toga. White-set eyes on a flat, inexpressive face gazed impassively at you from the screen. In his knobbly, three-fingered hands, he holds a strange staff, perhaps a mark of his rank or station. This handsome fellow is undoubtedly an upward-walking biped, but nobody would mistake him for a human. There's a note there. The AI flagged a previously uncatalogued phenomenon, something about unusual energy waves. Okay, look for more. A drone flying over one of the indigenous settlements detected inexplicably harmonic waves of uncertain origin. The AI requested a spectroscopic scan, sending the drone on another flyby. Unfortunately, the drone suffered an unknown malfunction and crashed right after recording an energy spike within the same resonant wavelength. Okay. The AI filed an incident report stating that there is a connection between the mysterious energy waves and the great desert stones that shade the natives' towns. Bloody hell, this is turning into like a mystery even. Cool. While its analysis was inconclusive, the AI categorized the phenomenon as a psionic amplification probability 67%. Ooh, psi powers. Could this be Proxima's true gift to her children? The gift denied to the more industrious children of Earth, whose tool-making skills drove them to dominate their environment and eventually the entire planet. The people of Proxima wouldn't need sharpened stones to hunt and cut if they can do it with a mere thought. Ooh. Now what about these settlements? This is a time-lapse recording taken from orbit. A swarm of tiny dots representing tribal migration crawl everywhere like ants, occasionally blinking out of existence to be replaced by new generations. How long have we been here? The view changes to show scattered clusters of rock formations, which offer the only shade and access to resources in the endless desert. Migration patterns shift as the inhabitants congregate around these formations. Their camps grow into settlements as they give up their nomadic ways, digging underground to escape the oppressive heat of the surface. To your eye, the resulting towns look more like primitive dig sites than a living civilization. Okay. Suddenly, the camera zooms in on one of the settlements, revealing every detail. The reason the AI chose to focus here is plain. A monolith raised by the natives is inscribed with an image of a new, strange moon that appeared in the sky one day. Looks like the ship's arrival hasn't gone unnoticed. Yeah, how long have we been here? Holy hell, okay. So in the final stage of the visual survey, the settlement grows into a town, several geocentric walls marking its steady expansion. The rocky spires are chiseled into hexagonal shapes, leaning over the town at odd angles. An appended note conservatively estimates the population at 12,000. The planet-wide estimate is 2.1 million as of the last report, nearly a century ago. So at least 3 million inhabitants now, if they stand together. Have we arrived 100 years ago? Is that what they're saying? Okay, that's interesting. Right, something about navigation. With your attention on the screen, you almost missed it. A small port with faded letters spelling Bridge Officer circling it. This is it, your time to shine. Plug in. So the bridge fades away as unfiltered data flows into your brain and overwhelming your senses. It's like looking at a multitude of screens merged into one. You see a three-dimensional map of the ship with a data overlay, endless alerts that waited to be brought to someone's attention for centuries. The ship itself, the battered hull, breached in several places, decks that were sealed automatically, the list of casualties, damage and radiation reports, and everything else the central computer thinks you need to know. Well, thank you. So your mind is untrained and your first attempts to navigate this interface fail, leaving you dizzy and disoriented. You stumble into the dark for hours, trying to do what an experienced bridge officer could do intuitively in seconds and eventually reach your destination. Landing the ship is a relatively simple affair, mainly because your role here is that of a living authenticator. Give an order and the ship will do what it had done countless times in the past, but it was still a cargo hauler. Oh, so it's actually refitted then. Interesting, okay. It would attach the cargo holds, engage their thrusters, and guide them remotely on a one-way trip to the surface. The ship itself will remain in orbit, a temporary satellite, providing much-needed support to the future colony. There's only one problem. The engines need to be shut down first. As you struggle to stay focused, you stumble upon another command, emergency recall. Okay, what do you mean by that? A cargo hauler in distress can be recalled home. If no bridge officer is available to give orders, what that means is that even an untrained officer like you can send the ship back to Earth. Well, that's a big decision. I mean, it's obvious what we're going to do, but like, that's a big decision. Okay, we're going to leave it alone for now, and we're going to report back to Ava, apparently. I'm going to drop a save. I'm gonna drop a save. Because, well, I would like to do that, yes. I mean, we could just bypass her altogether. But I kind of do want to know what she has to say about this. I do want to do that. So, right then, fine. Back to Ava. Chat with her about what we have just discovered. And we'll see if I make use of the save I just put down. Now, apparently we don't need to go to the SLSS because Ava is here. Secure the bridge, she commands. Several heavier and heavily armored monks step forward. To which I say, did you know the ship actually arrived at Proxima long ago? That we've been in orbit for years? I suspected. Now I know, she says. Okay, well, this changes everything, you know. It changes nothing, the Cyborg says flatly. We cannot land the ship right now. Well, okay, why not? Because this isn't the end of our journey. As difficult as everyone finds ship life, the first months and years on Proxima will be much harder. Can you breathe their air, drink their water, digest their food? What about unknown viruses and bacteria? Well, there's the native population to consider. Okay, fine, you make good points all around, I get it. Okay, so we don't know what the natives are hostile or not. Yes, that's like basically what she's saying here. The odds of the natives welcoming us with open arms are very low. True. We won't be able to fend them off while fighting each other. True. Okay, so maybe... But yeah, here's the point. The whole point of the ship, the whole point of everyone being on the ship, is to get to Proxima. And the whole reason why all the strife and all the warring and all the everything going on is because we haven't. Because people are feeling a sense of hopelessness. Like what the hell are they doing here? If we send out the message that we have arrived, I mean, I'm not saying that the factions are just gonna cease to exist and everyone will just automatically become the best of friends already or immediately. Of course, that's not gonna happen, but at least a sense of hope should then arrive, and people might say, okay, you know what, we need to get to work. Because that's what humans do, generally speaking. But okay then, yes, a chance to unite, that is what this is, I think. Are you willing to bet the fate of the colony on a maybe? Well, good point, I suppose. What do you propose? So, we'll prepare the remaining shuttles and use them to scout out the surface and get the necessary samples. Then we'll run immunodiagnostics and generate vaccines for whatever seems the deadliest. When the factory has been restored to its original purpose and the colonists have been properly trained, once we're all united under one ideology, ooh, do I get to choose that, maybe? Then we will be ready. Is that all? I say, very, very positive here. Guess I get a better pack my things then. We'll take our time to prepare rather than rush in and be killed off by Proxima's version of dysentery or cholera. So, you know what, Ava, as much as your pragmatic look on things might... you know, rub some people the wrong way, you are very correct. And I'm still very happy that I aligned with the monks. But this also means that there are basically 4 versions of this conversation right here. That's kind of cool. And I wouldn't mind checking all of those out, but it's a lot of replaying just to get to this point, by the way. That's true. So then, anyway, yeah, the Habitat is probably not going to like this, but again, as I said, if we drop the news that we are literally orbiting Proxima, moods are gonna change, you can bet on that. So it doesn't matter what they say, we control the bridge now, and without proper authentication, no one can initiate the landing sequence. Well, I have that, so that's good. The Habitat will have no choice but to work with us, however many years it takes. Okay, and yeah, ideology. You said one ideology. What's up with that? You must have heard the old Earth axiom, united we stand, divided we fall. We must all put our differences aside and focus on Proxima. It's our best, maybe our only chance for survival. That's true, but maybe that will never happen, really. The Brotherhood, Protectors, Church, they're a thing of a fractured past now. Now that we have arrived, we're replaced with a new identity and a new ideology, best suited to survive Proxima. The Pilgrims of Terra. United by origin, history, purpose, the Brotherhood will see in it a strive for freedom. The Protectors, devotion to the mission. The Church, religious undertones. It will not take long at all. Okay, so she has a proper plan here. I love it. So, what is it that you're going to do here? Return to the Habitat and deliver news. Okay, we shall, I suppose, do that. And before we leave, Jad wants to chat. What did you make of it? And, yeah, you know what? Flat out, she's not wrong. I mean, if we drop down there, and as you said, there's like some version of dysentery or cholera, everyone's gonna die, so like, what was the point then? Yeah, we can't land now, we do need to do some proper testing before we do anything else. So she says, interested, do you think we can add it ourselves? Novel Bridge Officer Authenticator, which I have, don't I? Wasn't that literally what I... Oh, maybe if I clicked that choice, the game would have said, well, you don't have that. That could have been a thing, I suppose. So we were born on a ship and we'll die on a ship. Yeah, okay. Well, Faith, what's your take? If we rush into it and something goes wrong, she says, then all this would have been for nothing. Indeed, so she's true, or she's correct as well. We'll have one chance to do right if we fail, or any... And we wait long, the ship might fall apart. It's not that bad. I mean, it's not like it's falling apart right now. So yeah, we only really have one shot, that's true. I don't know, says Evans, scratching his head. She isn't wrong, but how long do we wait? I mean, that's a good question. I mean, even the monks will obviously come to this conclusion that if the ship is actually falling apart, then we have to go. So I think they're too pragmatic to let it just go to waste. I mean, they're still set on the mission. That's the whole point. So yeah, still though, good question. Let's wait and see, I suppose. Yes, let's do that. This is a bit interesting. As I was about to leave, now's the time to consider your options, and there's only one option. Okay, what's there to think about? Deliver Ava's messages to the Habitat's faction. If I say not right now... By the way, Mr. Romeo is here, and I was actually able to power him up a bit, so he's up to 24 power now. Because apparently, you can charge him with power cells. I did not know that. So, there you go. But yeah, what are my options? Because these monks that I cannot talk to can't get through there. I shouldn't think that this is interesting, is it? Or, no, this is not interesting. I was about to say, ooh, is there like a special way through here so we can get back to the bridge? Alright. That's a bit weird. But yeah, there isn't really much to think about. Okay. I shall go and deliver a message. And over at the Habitat, here's Tanner again. He who has been with us all this time for no explained reason, really. What's happening, Chris? Why is everyone so on edge? Well, the monks are tightening up the screws and it's about to get a whole lot worse, I'd say. Luckily, we're on the right side this time. Put in a good word for me with the monks when you have the chance. I shall do that, Tanner. Absolutely. So, okay. Am I even allowed into the Brotherhood? Since we were here last time. Martial laws in effect. Bring the message from CTO Mineral Ecclesiastes. Okay, you know what? Okay, I can. Lovely. And of course Hansen isn't too happy to see us. What do the monks want now? Asks Hansen. More demands or more threats? Well, there's been a bit of a change of situation here. Spare me your bullshit and just tell me what the monks want. So here's the thing, the ship had arrived at Proxima long ago. It's been orbiting Proxima for years, if not decades, if not a century. We've arrived? Hansen asks in disbelief. When do we land? Well, that depends on you. The monks won't land the ship until the people here are united under a new banner. What banner? What the hell are you talking about? So the Pilgrims of Terra has a nice ring to it. No more Brotherhood, Protectors, Church, one people, united by origin, history, and purpose. This is going too far, growls Hansen. If the monks think we'll sit idly while they plot our destruction. Triarch William Hansen. There's a nice ring to it too. A Triarch? Oh, and we actually get to do a persuasion check. Oh, we started -3 on this occasion. Yeah, because we're... Relationship with the monks hostile. Why would that be a thing for the Brotherhood? And I'm cordial with the monks. Or is it you that's hostile? I don't know. Yeah, probably it's you that's hostile. Gotcha. Now, Triarch, are you saying Silas and Abraham are on board? They actually are. Why wouldn't they? It's the best way to put our differences aside and move forward without changing the existing power structure. Or Silas folded fast in a plastic chair. Abraham took some convincing. If you refused, you'd simply leave everything to them. I don't think he... I mean, okay, doesn't matter which one I pick. We're gonna succeed anyway. But like, where would I want this to go? I think I want the first one. I think that is more talking to him, actually. So then why all this farce with, what was it, settlers, pilgrims? Well, either because it's the only way it will work. One nation, one purpose, one government. The question is, do you want a seat on that government? Or we need a new brand that would work for everyone. What do the pilgrims want? Freedom, same as you. Didn't they cross an ocean to escape some dictatorship? You know what? That should speak to him. Do you really think my people will accept it? Well, tell them that the ship has arrived, but the bloodthirsty natives threaten to slaughter us all, unless we put our differences aside and unite the last children of Terra. I don't like that one, really. I mean, here's the thing. Okay, the natives are there. We know about this, but like, shouldn't we try to get along with the natives? Why would we at all suppose they're bloodthirsty? No, I don't like that. So they will if you present it as a historic accord, a long-awaited peace with our brothers and sisters under different flags, in return for minor concessions. I think that's a good choice, yes. The Brotherhood will never surrender, he says. I failed. I did not think I could fail a green check. But apparently I could fail a green check. Huh. Okay. So I suppose we have to fight the Brotherhood then. Boy, I did not think it was gonna go that way. Huh. Damn it. Alright then, well, let's go and chat to Silas then. And he seems very eager to talk to us. Make it quick, I'm busy. Well, the situation has changed. I'd say so. The monks are filling with their airflow to make us obey them. We weren't doing that to the Protectors, were we, though? Weren't the bastards supposed to be neutral? Well, here's the thing. The ship has arrived ages ago. The Founding Fathers be praised, says Silas, his eyes shining with fanatical excitement. When are we landing? Well, same as before, we want to unite under a new banner first. Should it be our banner, the mission's banner? Not necessarily, I say, and now we ship the Pilgrims of Terra once more. We will not abandon the mission, Silas says with the same fervor in his eyes. Okay, do you think you can stand against the Brotherhood, the Church, and the monks? Bullshit. Oh, we have slightly better... Yeah, okay, so there's the core... Oh, so the relationship with the monks, that was not for me. That was for the... That was for the faction. I see, okay. So, yes, bullshit. I can see Abraham's joining this cult, but Hansen, no way. Well, he hasn't, so you're dead right there. So why wouldn't he? It's the best way to put our differences aside. Oh, is this... Okay, in case you didn't notice, Hansen likes power and talking about liberating the ship more than he likes fighting and liberating. Oh, let's say that. Why pilgrims, then? Well, let's say... I wouldn't now mind moving streetwise a bit further up, actually. So we need a new brand that will work for everyone. So, their mission, yeah, what was the pilgrims all about? Their mission, same as you. They crossed an ocean because God told them to, after all. I don't know why we would mention God to these guys, but I suppose they're a bit God-fearing. So the executive committee will short mute treason if I say yes. So the monks prefer to deal with you, and attempts to remove you will be seen as interference in the affairs and dealt with most harshly. Or it's just occurred to me that the Pilgrims of Terra wouldn't need an executive committee. Perhaps Azrael would pay them a visit to discuss the retirement plans. No, don't say that. Let's go with the deal with the monks here. So that was a success. Get the executive committee off my back and you'll have a deal. Right. So you're on board, but is it going to work without the Brotherhood? We're gonna find out. Alright, let's go over to the church now. And over to the lovely person on the throne here. Very humble, I should say. I didn't expect to see you back so soon, says Abraham, attempting to smile. Well, change of situation. He nods, but his expression tells you he doesn't expect the situation to change for the better. Well, here's the thing, the ship has arrived. Excellent, he says. Well, okay. You're not perturbed a whole lot, are you? We prove ourselves worthy, and our trials are finally at the end, are they? Asks Abraham, raising an eyebrow. Well, depends on you. Here we go again. What banner might that be? Pilgrims of Terra. So the devil is willing to sacrifice Gog and Magog to topple our church. Well, that's one way to look at it, I suppose. What's the other? So the three greatest leaders of our generation overcoming their differences to work together for the sake of mankind. So Hansen and Silas already agreed to this. Well, I mean, sort of. Silas folded the fastener plastic chair. Hansen took some convincing. I mean, on that, it's actually quite true. Apart from the fact that Hansen didn't didn't get convinced. No, we'll go with the persuasion check here again. So could it be a form of confederation instead? Why all this masquerade? Only way to work, one nation, one purpose, one government, or we need a new brand and will work for everyone. Let's go with that one again. To practice their faith in peace, same as you. Didn't they cross an ocean to do that, huh? My people would never accept this heresy, says Abraham, shaking his head. So tell them the ship has arrived, but the bloodthirsty no, not the bloodthirsty natives. Well, they will if you present it as a historical court again. Let's do that one. On this occasion, I did succeed. Pilgrims, says Abraham, as if testing the word out. I like it. Okay, so again, same as before, 2 out of 3 on board. What do we do about the Brotherhood? We actually go all the way back to the bridge, which is nice. You return a statement and a question at the same time. I have delivered the message. She waits for you to continue. Hansen still thinks he has a choice. The other two will do as you ask. So better than expected, she turns to the monk standing respectfully behind her. Reduced oxygen level by 25%. Let me know when they're ready to talk. Bloody poor Brotherhood, I suppose. Okay, anything else I need to do? You can stay here and help us oversee the dismantling of the habitat's power structure. We'll have to understand that resisting this change is not an option, and the new foundation will be the only way forward. Okay, any other option? You can join the first landing party and help us prepare the foundation for the future colony. It will be dangerous, so the choice is yours. Can I? Okay, how long is this game? It's like... Now it feels like there's going to be a whole stuff down on the planet. I mean, that's kind of cool. I mean, I can't turn this down, okay? No way I can turn that down. Absolutely we're doing that. So there's a lander in mission control. We're preparing it for launch now. Okay, but I thought you didn't want to land right away. Well, we aren't landing the ship. We're establishing a small outpost to gather data and prepare the foundation for the future colony. That's basically what she said, yes. So, okay, how many people can I bring? So that would take 5 monks and 20 colonists. Okay, cool. I shall take that lander, yes. So, oh, I think the game ends now. Okay. Well, that was a bit unceremonious, I suppose. We'll talk again before you leave. You should rest now while you can. You have a long journey ahead of you. Well, I suppose, okay. I suppose we just end the game. And I suppose, okay, you know what? If I would have chosen to stay on the ship, presumably if I had stuff I still wanted to do, which granted there are a few things left for me to do, that would have been the thing that I could have done then. But there wasn't really, there was just 2 fights which would have yielded a few results. Other than that, then it didn't feel like we could have done much. I gotta be honest, slightly underwhelming ending here. Like, just, okay, we went to talk to people, and that was it. I mean, I'm okay with there not being, like, the big boss fight or whatever. I don't care about that, but, like, we went and talked to the people, and then was just... Okay, well, cool. You want to land on the planet, or you know what? It's just, again, a little bit underwhelming, but okay, let's read a bit. And so the ship remains in orbit over Proxima for the time being, every detail of its operation now under the monk's ever-watchful eye. Joined together as the Pilgrims of Terra, the three factions struggle to put their grudges behind them. But the flames of war, like any other fire, will burn out for want of oxygen, and even the embers of hate have a way of cooling when deprived of the chance to flare up. If life becomes gloomier and colder in consequence, perhaps that is a small price to pay. Over a generation or two, the Pilgrims will forget their own dogmas and will accept that freedom, faith, and mission are merely three faces of the same god, all looking ahead to the new world that awaits below. Okay, here we go. We get some final images here. This is looking kind of cool. So the ladder hurls through the atmosphere, shaking and groaning, threatening to fall apart around you, while as two sputtering thrusters are on the verge of failure when somehow the ladder strikes ground. So how the hell are we going to get back up, huh? So she hits hard and will never fly again. But the passengers and cargo are luckily unharmed. The onboard computer wastes no time in establishing a link with the ship and transmitting every bit of data it can gather, while the monks disembark to start mapping out the landing site and collecting samples. The colonists are divided into 4 teams and sent to scout the surrounding area. The mission objective is simply to survive until the factory can be deployed. Though any data collected will no doubt be valuable to the monks, for now you're on your own. And, okay, we do get to go through all of the different places. Lovely. And obviously this would all be a lot different depending on how you choose to do it. So the once thriving frontier settlement called the Pit is a ghost town now, and the lack of breathable air ensures it will remain that way. With the ship in orbit around Proxima, the monks find it most expedient to keep the troublesome humans herded together in the habitat. Moses led the ancient Israelites in their desert exile for 40 long years. Surely the monks will bring the shipborne to the promised land in much less time than that. I mean, really, it should be a lot less time, right? So the factory is the first cargo bay to be refitted to fulfill its original purpose. A process both awe-inspiring and terrifying. I wish that we would have been involved a little bit in this. Like going back and talking to I don't really remember what they were called now, but like the people sort of fighting over that. Maybe go to talk to them too. That would have been a thing. So the once deadly gangs, those disperse overnight, some escape into other decks, other press ganged into the massive workforce who would, press ganged, that's a word, press ganged into the massive workforce who would spend months on the project. It seemed an impossible goal, but then the reward, a real life outside the ship, used to be impossible as well. When the Vulcan at the heart of the Vulcan? What's a Vulcan on this occasion? When the Vulcan at the heart of the module has been repaired, it becomes a symbol of hope and perseverance. For the first time in well over a century, the shipborne has something to look forward to. See, that's what I was talking about. So when the job is done, the factory's manufacturing capacity is only a third of what it used to be, but it's a damn sight better than nothing. Then one day, without ceremony or even so much as a warning klaxon, the module is sealed off and ejected from the ship along with everyone inside. The monks have already established a base on Proxima's surface. Now they require machinery and manpower. Compliance is not optional. That would have been fun, just sitting there and sitting in it and go, oh, what the hell? What is this shaking? And then you're down on the planet. Lovely. So the shuttle bay is soon transformed into another major operations hub. The vagrants are given an hour to clear out, and a new force of amateur engineers gets to work repairing the ancient shuttles and fashioning new ones from parts and scrap. I was thinking about that. The crude new crafts have a 60% success rate, a number of the monks declare with the unacceptable parameters. You know what, on this, at this point in time, I should say yes, but poor people who has to take those odds. After a few short months, a fleet of one-way shuttles begin ferrying supplies and volunteers to the surface. Since the security of the landing site is ever-growing stockpile of, and its ever-growing stockpile of supplies is paramount, Jackson's riflemen are among the first to make planetfall. Good luck, or rather, good thing that they actually did it. And then we have hydroponics. With great difficulty, the monks obtain soil and water samples from the surface, and the work to adapt Terran crops for Proxima begins in earnest. Hydroponics is completely rebuilt and sealed off to avoid contamination, making it one of the most secure areas of the ship. Red Zone is once again an evolutionary testing ground, the old designs revived, then tweaked on regular cycles for the struggles ahead. Proxima's desert is crawling with life, hostile life that will consume anything straying past the outer perimeter unless we destroy it first. In the Yellow Zone, the Grangers are working tirelessly, growing seedlings, training symbiotic fungi, and dispatching them to their new home on the surface. Early reports haven't been encouraging, but the monks are untroubled. For them, there is plenty of time and the work will get done eventually. Well, that's not good, and it's not looking good, if you know what I mean. And then over in the heart, the old great mother watched over the unfolding changes with grave concern. The stability she had worked with her whole life to create for her children was falling to pieces. The engines soon to be unneeded, the Covenant all but discarded, and the war in the habitat threatening to spread. No, wasn't that the point that it wasn't? Well, okay, fine, before we meddled, it was. So something must be done, but for now she will do what every great mother who came before her did and keep her own counsel. It is not their way to involve the tribe in the affairs of the others, those not strong enough to bear the mark. And okay, exit, I see that. No mention of the habitat then. Are we gonna get to the habitat by some other means, maybe? Let's click exit and see if we get roll credits or if something else happens. No roll credits, actually. We were just pushed to the loading screen, or start screen, main title, whatever. You know what I mean. So I decided to click the credits button to get the roll credits, and I did not know that there were so few people working on this game. While it's not a one-man game, it's bloody hell not even 20 people have worked on this game. Oh, that's kind of cool, not gonna lie. How many people are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 70 people in total. That puts a bit of a different shimmer, I suppose, in this game. By which I mean, I have enjoyed this game quite a lot. This has been a fascinating experience. Like, I went into this game with no prior knowledge. Absolutely none. I had not seen a single word said about this game before I started playing it. I just looked at it, it looked good, visually at least. And obviously it had good reviews on Steam. So, having now played this game in full, basically, I gotta be honest, I've enjoyed it quite a lot. Now, yeah, the fact that there isn't that many people involved in this, it makes sense to some degree. Because there are obviously, I mean, if you compare it to other games, like AAA games, if you would, it's a bit narrow to some degree. Like, yes, you can absolutely choose your path in several aspects of the game, or story, maybe I should say. But very often you can't, and very often it's quite quick. Like, certain side quests or side missions are over quite quickly. And sometimes you can tell that there hasn't been more time basically to do even more stuff with it. And the fact that there aren't that many missions, there are missions. I mean, I'm not going to say that there's a few missions, but like, again, compared to other games, it feels like there could be a whole lot more and sort of more intriguing missions in some ways, I suppose. I still don't have a lot of problem with it. I mean, this is episode, what is this, episode... This episode is 44, 45 or something, or along those lines of basically 1 hour episodes. It's a good solid, length of time for an RPG, absolutely. So, you know what, considering that there's 3 people writing this game, I gotta be honest, it's pretty damn good. And I will say also, a lot of text. That's true, and this is not a voiced game, so it's very important that the texts are good, like well written, and yeah, it is actually well written. Apart from the fact, or rather, those few times when, as I said before, there is, it's maybe a bit short-handed, so to speak. It could be a bit more, just more, really. But for the most part, yeah, it's actually quite good. I would also have loved slightly more options in certain dialogues. Sometimes it feels like it's basically just yes or no, and that's it. Yeah, it could have been a bit more. Like, for example, I said that I wanted to play sort of the diplomat in this playthrough, and maybe wanted to take over the pit, but that wasn't even an option. I'm not saying it had to be an option, I'm just saying that it would have been nice if that was an option. So, for that part, like the story itself, etc., etc., I think that everything just worked rather well, I think. Pretty interesting characters. Again, this is not really a game that pushes characters as such. You know, we are also kind of like Baldur's Gate, which I sort of complain about for that game, which is that you, the main character, I mean, who are you? There's absolutely no story. There are no people who know you. You are just really a nobody, and that's fine, but it gets a bit boring to some degree. I'm still okay with that. Other than that, I mean, what I really just, I think, what I miss most, I suppose, is voice acting. It would definitely have been better with voice acting, but again, obviously, small studio, no money, so I'm 100% okay with it not being voice acted. If they ever get to do a colonyship 2, and the game kinda hinted at that, did it? Kinda felt like, okay, we're building now an outpost on Proxima. Maybe we get the colonyship 2 that is actually on Proxima, and we get to continue the story on Proxima. That would be kind of cool, maybe. Yeah, that would be lovely. So the other thing that I've been mentioning before, I can just quickly mention it again, is sort of how combat works. Now, I played on the underdog difficulty, which is the slightly, I suppose, hard instead of normal, or normal instead of easy, I don't know. And sometimes the combat was a bit unforgiving and also a bit unclear, I want to say. By which I mean it wasn't really all that easy always to understand why the hell it was difficult, if you know what I mean. There were a few stats that I just didn't understand exactly what they were, and no information in the game either. The game definitely would have been improved by a guiding tooltip system, kind of like Crusader Kings 3, where you can sort of lock the tooltip and then you can click on individual elements of the tooltip and you can get an explanation of that thing. So when you press Alt in a combat, if you're hovering over an enemy, and you get all these different stats, it would be kind of nice if you could just click on them and see, okay, what is going on here? Why is it like this? I feel. And like, how do we calculate this? How do I counteract it, etc., etc. And we also have the fact that grenades, I think, play. I mean, okay, you know what? I'm gonna go back a bit on that that idea or thought that I had before, which is that I don't like the fact that grenades play such a big part of the game. But then again, if that's the point, well, then that's the point, and then it's okay. So I don't know. I still don't know about that. It's just, how do you use grenades in other games? I never use grenades in other games, really. Not much at all. But here they definitely played a big part, and I potentially didn't really consider that enough, if you would. So, yeah, you know what? Okay, I'll concede that one. But one thing that I have mentioned before about the combat is the AI, which in some ways is too smart. So smart that it becomes a gameplay problem, which is that the AI is very good at targeting one of your characters, which is what you should do. Like, okay, that's actually really smart tactics, but for the player's sake, it's not good, because it means that you die, like, really easily. So, yeah. Still though, I mean, absolutely fine combat in the end. I definitely did get it in the end, I suppose. When I got a few more feats and stuff like that, it actually, I wouldn't say it became easy, but it became manageable. And there were 2 fights then that I didn't do, at least to my knowledge. Well, there were more fights, but like that I had access to, both in Hydroponics and Red. Not impossible that I could have done both, but we will never know now, will we? So all in all, final sort of scoring, if you would. I'm not going to give it a score. I have enjoyed this, like, so much, and it's been a really fun experience. And again, from not knowing anything about the game to having this experience, yeah, if you like RPGs and you like this sort of slightly dystopian sci-fi setting, I mean, go check this out, definitely, if you haven't been doing it already, having watched this series. I might want to start over another character and play it a bit differently, but I suppose my biggest tip will be Persuasion and Streetwise. Just level that. Level Persuasion and Streetwise, and you're gonna go just fine. And I do wonder, by the way, if you don't have it at those final 3 conversations, or even the 3 conversations before those final 3, whether the habitat leaders, like, what happens? Is it just the bad ending? Did I now get the semi-good ending because I didn't get the Brotherhood on track? I don't know. But yeah. Indeed, Persuasion and Streetwise, both really, really important and comes into use so much. So I would say yes, go get those if you want to have a good time. But yes, that's Colonyship, a post-Earth role-playing game, and we're looking forward to new series on the channel, because on Friday we're starting a new one. It's gonna be completely different from this. Oh boy, I'm looking forward to that game that I'm gonna be doing, a short one, I think it's a short one, and I'll explain in that game why it's gonna be a short one. It's gonna be completely different. I'm just saying that. It's yeah, I'm not gonna say more, just that no more role-playing. Well, actually, you know what? Scratch that. It's actually going to be role-playing, just in a very different manner. So hopefully you're looking forward to that, and hopefully you have enjoyed this series as much as, or even more, than I did. Or potentially less, who knows, eh? For now though, this has been ghostmutgaming with me, Christopher. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.